Hey everyone, Genome here, catch you with my next top 10 list in the Marvel Strike Force series. So today I'm going to be looking at a very stout group, and that is the controllers. A couple of the other lists were pretty easy to do. Blasters and tanks were pretty straightforward. Mystics a little more murky, but still pretty straightforward. And this one I actually had to do some real thinking about who's going to make this list, because there's a lot of really good controllers out there. They don't always get all the glory, but boy, they're some of the strongest characters in the game, and usually a boon for any team. So I'm going to go ahead and give this to you in descending order from least useful to most useful. I do have another criteria for this list, and that is they need to be good standalone controllers. So that's why, you know, just because the symbiotes are amazing, that I'm not going to include Venom or Scream, because you don't really use them outside of their team very often. And basically everybody on my top 10 list here can be used outside of their team. Some better than others. I want to do two honorable mentions first, though. Alright, for my first honorable mention, I'm going to go with Vision. Vision, even though I don't use him anymore, is an exceptionally versatile character and a great controller. I'd really like to find a home for him. The closest thing I really have for him is sometimes I'll swap him in on War, because I don't have my, what is her name? Ironheart leveled at all. I don't have no interest in power armor, really. So I'll throw him in there for the defense up. So he's good on tech teams, but he's just a good, solid character overall. Took him through a lot of my first run of Dark Dimension 2, and he's just a valuable character. So, you know, he's not used in-game or even late middle game, but up until then, he's a really valuable member and someone to consider, especially if you've already pulled shards of him. So Vision is definitely an honorable mention. And of course, Doom has got to be up there. He's probably number one on this list once he gets rolling, but I don't know, so few people have him right now, so I hadn't really seen him. I saw a little bit of video footage with him in like some real-time arena and stuff, but you know, you just don't see this guy, so it's hard to rate him, but he's obviously going to be top 3 easily. So Doom is my second honorable mention. That's it. Alright, for my number 10 pick is going to be Magneto. He does lose a lot of steam off his Brotherhood team, but he does bring a lot of good tools to the table, and unlike any of the other Brotherhood outside of Juggernaut, really, he has plenty of uses as a solo character, right? You probably won't use him too much in endgame, but he comes in and out of favor, especially in like arena, so it just depends. It's been a while since he's been around and relevant, but he's still a good character. His basic is just damage to adjacent, no big deal there, but it's this polarized beam that makes him a really deadly controller because, like, for instance, if you use him in raids you see Drax all the time. If you hit Drax with this, he's basically out of the game totally. If you hit Shield Security, he's out of the game totally because he can't even auto-taunt at that point. So it's a very overlooked and valuable control tool that he has there. And of course, his ultimate is absolutely incredible. Does so many different things, don't need to go into it, but long story short, it's one of the best attacks in the game. And he used to be one of the best characters in the game, but, you know, power creep and all that. So Magneto is my number 10 pick. Alright, for my number 9 pick, I'm going to go with Mordo. Mordo has uses on teams like Supernatural. I know he's getting some use in DD4 nowadays. Some people put him up to Gear Tier 15 or whatever. So that must say something about the character. I don't have him nearly that high, but I used him through a lot of DD2, believe it or not. Usually, because I had 2 teams going, and he was usually on my Soak team, right, to get initial ultimates out of the way. But he has his uses, and he comes in and out of favor for PvE content, but he's just got a really strong controlling kit with heal blocks, blinds, applying debuffs with his basic, and he's got some self-heals going in and all that too with his passive. So just a good all-around controller character, and he's very, he's almost like the epitome of controller, right, because everything he does has something to do with control. But there's others that do it better than he does, but he's a pretty solid one, and he is my number 9 pick. Alright, for my number 8 pick, I'm going with Star-Lord, and I may get a little flack over this one because he's really fallen out of favor completely. At least when you get to the late mid-game and start into the end game, yes, he's not used really at all, mostly because he's squishy as heck, and his focus is not high enough to land the blind on his special, even though that's not really the main thing for it, but it is a control aspect for him. But he's still a great energy battery. He's almost essential for a newer player in DD2, really, if you want to progress quickly with Minerva and him together working in tandem. He does a lot of cool things, and it's really just mostly his energy battery status that makes him a great controller, and he can still find uses. I actually find myself using him quite a bit in RTA. Because Thanos is banned, it seems like quite a bit, so he's the other energy battery, so feeding Black Bolt with a round 1 clever distraction means he's going to ultimate his first turn. So it's pretty strong when you're going for knockouts. So Star-Lord does have some uses. It's very limited. He's not really a raid character anymore with that, and you won't use him in like the higher dark dimensions, but he's still a solid character. He's just fallen way out of favor with the community because, well, let's face it, he can't stand up to the big boys anymore. So Star-Lord is my number 8 pick. All right, for my number 7 pick, I'm going with Loki. Loki is one of the most dangerous characters in the game, especially in raids on the opposing team. If you see a node with Loki, and I think in U7 there's a node with 2 of them, and they start out at the same time, and they're almost always going to go first. You better be very careful because he will hit you with his special, and a lot of times you just killed your own character. And if there's 2 of them there, boy, you could lose 2 in the opening salvo. It's incredibly dangerous. This guy is not to be trifled with. He's one of the top 3 most dangerous characters in raids, in my opinion. And as a player control character, he's pretty strong as far as control goes. You can pick and choose who you want to try to nuke on turn 1 with his special, which is almost always what you're going to use, just unless there's something weirdness going on. And then you got his ultimate, which helps give some sustain and survivability to the rest of the crew. You got some focus boost with his passive. He's got some innate evades, at least after he throws off his basic sometimes, So it's just a good, strong all-around kit, but he is so lethal that he had to make this list, and that combo hasn't gotten any worse. It used to be the nightmare scenario of him and Captain Marvel on the same team, because she would almost always go second, and then if someone happened to survive the first nuke, she's going to clean up the second one, so you're almost always in a 4 versus 5 situation like that, So very deceptively good character, good on the Asgardians, a very integral piece of the Asgardians too, even though they're not meta anymore. Still just a great character and definitely worthy of being listed, and he's my number 7 pick for best controller. For number 6, I'm going with Proxima Midnight. Proxima is good outside of her team. She's really great on her team, of course, but the whole Black Order team is amazing. But she has a great control kit outside of her team. Between stripping buffs with her basic. Stripping basics, is that like pole dance school? Anyway, putting offense down on multiple characters. By the way, she works really well with Magneto. When he bunches everyone together, she hits everybody with this, just so you know. And of course, her stun, slow, which is perfect because there's nothing worse than stunning a character. And then his turn meter's almost up anyway, and so he just comes right back out of it again and gets out of it. This way, you're assured a long stun on the character as long as it lands. Very strong attack. I'm thinking about putting a T4 into this, but I don't know. That might be a little bit overkill. We'll see. Depends how many more of those I stack up. But just a great character. Plus, she removes stealth. So it's, really strong control kit, and she's seen quite a bit of use, I believe, in like DD3, and I don't know if she's in 4 yet being used, but yeah, so just a strong character and definitely worthy of being in the top 6. So there it is, number 6, Proxima Midnight. All right, number 5 might be surprising to you, and that's Phoenix. I'm sure a lot of people would put her close to the top, and she is exceptionally strong. However, she's not strong everywhere. Now take that with a grain of salt. She is strong everywhere, but you often don't get credit for it. Say you use her in PvE content. If you're trying to 3-star things, it ain't gonna work, because unless Beast is on your team, there's a weird connection there. But so you will finish the node or whatever you're doing, but Phoenix is gonna be dead. So you will either won't get the 3-star, or if you're using him in her raids, you're gonna have to res her again. So it's not great for PvE content, those kind of things. But she's exceptionally strong in Arena, exceptionally strong in War, really strong in Dark Dimensions. She basically helped people get through DD3 almost all on her own, so not to be trifled with, one of the strongest characters in the game in Dark Phoenix mode, if not the strongest, and just incredibly good. If she was just, if her death didn't count against like 3-stars and in raid nodes and all that, she'd be way OP, so they had to build something in like that. So exceptionally strong character, good in just about every game mode, but there's a caveat to her, of course, and she's my pick for number 5. Okay, number 4, I'm going with Zemo. Zemo is basically God tier in RTA. In fact, anytime it's versus any other player versus player scenario, he's a monster. He's a monster in war against some meta D teams like Hydra, or Red Skull team specifically. And he just got a really solid kit overall. He's pretty good in raids too. On my other account, I have him higher than this. He's a killing machine at lower levels. I actually pulled him out of a mega orb, 100 shards of him, no less. But he's a killing machine, and he's just got such a universally good kit that it would be a crime not to list him here. Eventually, one of these days, when I get done with symbiotes or something else, I'll start working on him a little more. But for the meantime, I'm just going to keep him at mid levels, and he's just a great character. Not exactly farmable, but time will tell. So my number 4 pick is Zemo. Okay, for my number 3 pick, I'm going to go with Ghost. Ghost could possibly be number 2 on this list, to be honest with you, and maybe even number 1, depending on your gear level and how much you've worked on her. But, I mean, I haven't, but I've seen enough videos and read enough stuff to know that she's a pretty amazing standalone character. Definitely best part of Pin-Tech. In fact, only maybe good part of Pin-Tech. But great standalone character. I can't wait to work on her. It's like Zemo, I have to just wait. But she's like a conglomeration of a couple different characters. She got the offense down aspect of Yo-Yo and lots of sustain, some decent damage actually too for a controller. She's basically the total package and just an amazing character. Yeah, I haven't really used her enough, but I don't know. She might be swappable, but she hasn't had we haven't seen her for the long term like we have the top 2 characters, so we'll see. So I'm going to go with number 3 as Ghost. All right, for number 2, I'm going with Hela. Hela is tried and true. She's been in the game for a while now, and she's just been universally good since she's been released. An amazing, very unique kit too, but very cool. Her summon is what makes her. It's just... The AI really loves to target Greg's, and it just does so much duty. When he dies, he freaking resets their turn meter on the opposing team. He heals Hela. He soaked up that damage from the attack. He can't die. He just keeps getting rezzed. Amazing thing. Another thing, she's really what makes the Asgardians in war. For whatever that's worth anymore, and she's good in raid, she's good in DD2, she's just good everywhere, and that's the mark of a good controller and or character in general. She's amazing, and I didn't really put any extra weight to the selections if they opened a legendary, like Loki helps to open a legendary, Mordo helps open legendary, so does Ghost. We don't know when Jubilee's going to be good or not though, but Hela unlocks a stupendous legendary, and helping to unlock Black Bolt is worth several points alone. I try not to really factor that in because she's just good on her own and she'd be used even if it wasn't for that, but that is just more icing on the cake, and Hela is a great addition to any team, and yeah, she's my number 2 pick for best controller. All right, we're finally here. My number 1 pick for best controller in Marvel Strike Force has got to go to Emma Frost. Mine is not that high, obviously, because I can't really farm her easily, so I'm not going to dump too much into her for a while, but she doesn't really require that much, actually. She's more kit-based than anything. She's a lot like Minerva in that, or Ebony Maw, characters like that. But she is so strong. On Marauder, she is beyond good, and her strength is enough and power is enough that she can be put on just about any team and will almost always improve them, right? An amazing character. She works well at these levels even. You start throwing her up in the 80s and 100Ks levels, she's a complete monster, especially in war. Oh my gosh. But you see her everywhere. She's in Arena. You can throw her in DD2. You can throw her, of course, in war on just about any team, but preferably on Marauders, of course. And she's just an amazing character. I really wish I could farm her easier, but it is what it is. Everything she does is just incredible, between flipping positive effects on her basic to getting incredible sustain, especially with her diamond form up, and then she has a great nuke too. Think of Loki crossed with, I don't know, who else would you have on that? Like, I would say Magneto, but she doesn't move everybody around. But yeah, she just she can annihilate characters with them and then leave a blind behind too. So it's incredibly strong. Everything she does is just amazing. I could go on and on and on all day about it, but basically she is almost impossible to kill. One-on-one, you're almost never going to get her down. In fact, I don't know if really any characters can get her. Maybe a Black Bolt on a one-on-one, but I even doubt that, because he'll have to sit through around a blind once her ultimate's up. So low cooldowns too is another thing that makes her amazing. So yeah, I'd say definitely worthy of the #1 pick, and she's just universally great. So let me know what you think in the comments below. How was my list? Do you think it was inclusive enough? A lot of good characters. I know there's some people I wanted to put on there and had to leave out. Like, you can argue for Venom and Scream, but like I said, outside of their team, they're not all that great. Mysterio has one of the best control kits in the game, but he is just not that good a character. You know, Graviton's great on his team, but he gets no use outside of that, and his team is not really meta or anything. So lots of good options out there, and I'd like to hear what your thoughts on it are. So give me your top 10 list down in the comments below, and I'm not sure which one of these I'm going to do next, but hopefully it's an interesting one. So anyway, hope you enjoyed, and until next time, this is Genome, continually counting down from 10, out.